Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. My name is Muhammad Yasir and I will discuss, and my group and I will discuss on vicarious liability on Grab and Uber. First of all, do you know what is vicarious liability? Vicarious liability is when a person commit a crime or thoughts, but the other person is liable towards the action that committed by the previous person. This is the analogy. For example, A commit a crime, commit a thoughts, but B is liable towards whatever that committed by A because there is a relationship between both of them. For example, the relationship of employment between employer and employee. So the issue is the vicarious liability on Grab and Uber. Why this issue need to be discussed? Because in the elements of the vicarious liability, it must have the relationship between the employer and employee. But the issue is, are the drivers of the Grab and Uber is employer towards the company of Grab and Uber. So the thing that need to be discussed is whether the drivers of Uber and Grab is in a contract of service or contract for service. Okay, first of all, contract of service is like a regular worker which they pay by salary, which is know that they are worker for the company. But if contract for service, it's like they are not work as their regular basis, which is they are the independent worker, independent contractor. So now we need to know, are the drivers of Grab and Uber is contract of service or contract for service? In discussing on this issue, vicarious liability on Grab and Uber, we will refer what other countries said about this issue, about vicarious liability on Grab and Uber. First country that we want to discuss is about United States of America. On 31st December 2013, in San Francisco, an Uber driver who was 57 years old involved in an accident where he hit a 6-year-old kid and causing her death. And this case was brought to the court, and Uber denied the liability of them towards the action that committed by their driver. And they contended that the driver is not their worker, but the driver is just only an independent contractor. Same thing happened in Michigan, where an Uber driver shot 6 persons until death, and Uber still denied their liability by stating that the Uber driver is not their worker but only an independent contractor. In addition, in Germany and India, they prohibit this service, which is Uber service, because it can cause many bad things happen. For example, that we have discussed, it can cause a person's death. It can cause many things. So in India and Germany, they prohibit this Uber because it can cause many bad things happen. It rained down like.
Just now, we have heard what other countries have said about this issue. Now, we are moving on to Malaysia, where Malaysia have discussed this issue of Uber and Grab. Finally, there is no established or decided cases in Malaysia relating to the vicarious liability of Uber and Grab. However, there is one ongoing cases in the court which related to the vicarious liability of the Uber and Grab company. The case of Wong Mei Yan, where she, a pregnant woman, was robbed by the Uber driver. She then suffered miscarriage due to the action of the driver. Here, we are showing that the roleplay of this case which happened to her on that unfortunate night.
The woman who was robbed during her Uber ride to Puchong has suffered a miscarriage just a week after the incident. An emotional Wong Mi Yan, who was a month into her pregnancy, told a press conference on Saturday that she was traumatized by the incident and now she has lost her child.
已经开始觉得很痛，我就去 check 这个还有的baby 还有在里面，然后过后开始就更加的不舒服，我就去这个 fire doctor 这边，就是昨天 check， 然后他开了那些药，安胎药给我吃，然后过后就是不能，还是不能，到今天早上就这样了，就没有了。
She also said that she would take legal action against the share ride firm for emotional distress and loss as a result of the incident.
我要他们做出赔偿，来弥补我心灵上的损失，心灵的伤害。
Wong had booked Uber ride home and said that she did not notice that another passenger was seated at the front and only realized something was amiss when the driver refused to follow her directions. She was held at knife point and she pleaded to not be harmed as she was pregnant. Police have arrested the driver, who is on remand until May 31st.
Okay. The requirements to be a Grab driver are firstly, you must be 20 years old and above, and then you must need a Malaysian driving license. Like you cannot drive with Grab with pre-registered license. You must obtain a full license. You know what is full license, right? So then for the car specifications, it must be 3 years and newer. If it's 3 years and older, the Grab headquarters must check on it. Must check on the capability of the car to run for a long time. For me, absolutely, I'm an independent contractor, because if we talk about employee, they will give me like monthly salary or weekly salary. But this, for me, I'm an independent driver or worker, because I work when I want.
when I want it to work. So I just drive and I earn some money. So, but if I don't earn that money. So the Grab cannot regard me as their employer, and I cannot regard Grab as my employee. Employer. I'm terbalik. So that's how I felt about it. So yeah, when talking about Grab, it's just about demand. The customers will always demand for it. So there's no such thing as employee and employee. It's just our need, our inclination to do it or not.
Yeah, we can apply. I think right now we have up to 3 tests at least kan. We have control test, which is very old, conventional method, and then we have integration test. And I think the latest one, if you check, we have economic reality test. I mean the current situation. Okay, whether we should how this Uber driver as employee or as independent contractor, isn't it? So that the justice will prevail, especially to protect interest of customer and protect interest of the driver as well. So we want to do justice. But there's no hard and fast rule yet. Especially in Malaysia, we don't have any case yet. So we don't have any test case. But in UK and US, they have a case already. But still, the position is not really clear because it's always clashes of interest. Whether we should hold them as independent contractor or we should hold them as employee. Yeah. Again, it depends on whether you want to apply contract law or torts law. Because for contract law, exemption clause will be will exclude the liability from the offender or whoever the tortfeasor. But under negligence, okay, we don't care whether you have exemption clause or not, so long all the elements are fulfilled. Okay, maybe the company is negligence in not checking the background of the driver, so we can still have the case of negligence, okay, on the part of company. So there are 2 different lines of argument actually. It's under contract law, under torts law.
Yeah, since we heard a lot of cases been through newspapers, TVs, social medias and so on about drivers doing misconduct to their passengers. So yeah, I think Grab should be liable with implementing some new rules, implementing some new guidelines for the drivers in order to screen them, to segregate them, to really choose a good driver, because yeah, it's about their name. If they choose a wrong driver, it will affect their reputation. Then and then customers will move to other e-hailing app like Uber and so on. So I think that's all.
In my personal opinion,
in your study,
the trend become very popular nowadays, isn't it? I think we should have certain controls, so we should have them liable, so that the company will be the responsibility will be more, okay, to check whether the driver has the capacity to be a good driver or not, okay, to lesser the risk, okay, to the passenger, because we are all passengers, isn't it? Yeah, and I think that the trend is very popular nowadays, so we need to have a system, a very specific regulations to cater for this.
Yeah.
As for the conclusion, to conclude our research on this subject, the vicarious liability on Uber and Grab, based on the interviews that we have conducted, it can be derived that there is no relationship between the driver and the companies in terms of relationship of employer and employee for the time being. However, based on the integration test, the driver himself, the services provided by the driver is actually an integral part to the companies. This is meaning to say that the companies could not function if the drivers did not offer their service of e-hailing towards their customers. as for the suggestion, we hope that Malaysia could impose a new rule to govern the issue of vicarious liability of the companies that provides e-hailing services. And as for the case of Wong Mei Yan, we hope that the court will establish a good precedent in the matter regarding the vicarious liability of the companies.
This is the Islamic perspective for us, the users, and the driver. So, interestingly, there is a guy posted on the Federal Territory Mufti's website in the Facebook, and the guy asking the Mufti regarding the rules or the fatwa of a man and a woman to drive together, which is they are a man and a woman, which is non-mahram in a car. So the Mufti replying that it is okay for the driver and the passenger to be together in a car, but then both of them must do their best in order to avoid the slander from the other people. In this case, the driver must, or maybe the passenger themselves, there must be seat at the back of the car to avoid unnecessary chat in order to prevent bad things from happening. In this case, the Mufti only provide their advice and their suggestion in which a man or a woman can follow or not. So, if anyone want to sit in the front or at the front of the car with the driver, it is okay as long as they are aware of their proximity. So, we as a Muslim, we must know our limits. So, a man must know their limit and a woman must know their limit. And in this case, regarding a woman especially, this is because when you want to use a private car, an Uber or maybe a Grab, you should wear a proper dress and you shouldn't be alone. In this case, if you want to go anywhere, you should bring along your friends because as we all know, in this present day, there are too many cases of sexual harassment, rape. That is all from me. Stay safe, guys.